Good morning.
ਏਸੀ 24 ਦੇ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ-ਬਹੁਤ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਅੱਜ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੁਝ ਸੱਜਣ ਜੁੜਨਗੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੇਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਚਾਹਾਂਗੇ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਦੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਖੋਟ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਸ ਸੱਜਣ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਖੋਟ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਹਸਤੀ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ, ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਉਹਦਾ ਜ਼ਿਕਰ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਰੀਅਲ ਐਸਟੇਟ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ, ਕੁਝ ਮੌਰਗੇਜ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ, ਜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਗੈਸਟ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ BC ਹੈਗਾ, ਬ੍ਰਿਟਿਸ਼ ਕੋਲੰਬੀਆ, ਉਹਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਵੀ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਕਿ ਉੱਥੇ ਦੀ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਕੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ। ਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਜੁੜੇ ਰਹੋ। ਅਸੀਂ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਮੁਬਾਰਕਬਾਦ ਦੇਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਅੱਜ ਜਨਮ ਦਿਨ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਹੈਪੀ ਬਰਥਡੇ ਟੂ ਯੂ। ਸੋ ਜੇ ਕਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਗਾ ਵੀ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਹੈਪੀ ਬਰਥਡੇ ਟੂ ਯੂ। ਸੋ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੰਮੀਆਂ ਉਮਰਾਂ ਦੇਵੇ, ਖੁਸ਼ ਰੱਖੇ, ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ 'ਚ ਰੱਖੇ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੰਮ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਸਿੱਧੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਣ। ਪਰ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੰਮ ਸਿੱਧੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਐਕਸਾਈਟਮੈਂਟ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਜਾਣੀ। ਸੋ ਇਸ ਲਈ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਜ਼ਿਗਜ਼ੈਗ ਲਾਈਫ ਹੋਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ, ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਉਹ ਸੰਘਰਸ਼ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਅਚੀਵਮੈਂਟ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਸੰਘਰਸ਼, ਇੱਕ ਲਾਈਫ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇੱਕ ਸਾਈਕਲ ਹੈ। ਜਿਵੇਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਟਾਕ ਐਕਸਚੇਂਜ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਨਾ, ਉੱਪਰ ਫਿਰ ਥੱਲੇ, ਫਿਰ ਉੱਪਰ ਫਿਰ ਥੱਲੇ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਮਜ਼ਾ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਵਾਧਵਾਨੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਵੀ ਕੈਲਗਰੀ ਜੁੜ ਗਏ ਹੈ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਕੈਲਗਰੀ ਦੇ ਮਸਲੇ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਦੇਖਾਂਗੇ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਉੱਥੇ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ। ਇੱਥੋਂ ਹੁਣੇ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਦੇਰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ 'ਚ ਗਏ ਤੇ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਹਲੇ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਸਾਂ 'ਚ ਵਸਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਰੂਬਰੂ ਕਰਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੜੀ ਜਲਦੀ। ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਇੱਕ ਖੋਟ ਜਿਹੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ। ਉਸ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਉਹਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਅਚੀਵਮੈਂਟਸ ਨੇ, ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਇਨਵੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਆਨੰਦ ਵੀ ਲੈ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ। ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਜੀ ਥਾਮਸ ਐਲਵਾ ਐਡੀਸਨ ਦੀ। ਪੜ੍ਹੇ ਲਿਖੇ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜੀ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਜਾਓ, ਡਾਕਟਰ ਬਣ ਜਾਓ, ਇਹ ਬਣ ਜਾਓ, ਪਰ ਥਾਮਸ ਐਲਵਾ ਐਡੀਸਨ ਨੇ ਕੁਝ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੇ ਮੋਟੇ ਕੋਰਸ ਕੀਤੇ ਆ, ਕੋਈ ਕੂਪਰ ਇੰਸਟੀਚਿਊਟ ਕੁਛ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ, ਪਰ ਅਦਰਵਾਈਜ਼ ਉਹ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਹੀ ਪੈਦਲ ਸੀਗੇ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਵੱਖੋਂ। ਪਰ ਕੰਮ ਦੇਖ ਲਓ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਆ। ਇਹ ਸਾਬਤ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਆ ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਓਵਰਰੇਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਹੀ। ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮਾਪਦੰਡ, ਇੱਕ ਮੇਜਰ ਆਫ ਸਕਸੈਸ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹੀ ਦੱਸਦਾ ਕਿ ਓਕੇ ਯੂ ਆਰ MSc, ਓ ਵਾਓ ਦੈਟਸ ਗ੍ਰੇਟ, ਪਰ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਅਕਲ ਧੇਲੇ ਦੀ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ। ਉਹ MSc ਕੀ ਕਰੂਗੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਣੀ। MSc ਕਰਕੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਟਰੱਕ ਚਲਾ ਰਹੇ, ਡਾਕਟਰੇਟ ਕਰਕੇ ਟਰੱਕ ਚਲਾ ਰਹੇ, ਕਿੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਆਪਣਾ ਉਹ ਐਕੈਡਮਿਕਸ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ। ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਯਾਰ ਇਹਦੋਂ ਚੰਗਾ ਛੋਟਾ ਮੋਟਾ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਤੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਹੀ ਪੈਸੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਕਰ ਲੈਣੇ ਸੀਗੇ। ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਵੈਂਚੁਅਲੀ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਐਂਡ ਇਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਵਧੀਆ ਨੌਕਰੀ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਏ ਤੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਪੈਸੇ ਕਮਾ ਲਈਏ। ਪਰ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਵੈਸਟਰਨ ਮੁਲਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਹੈ। ਇੱਥੇ ਸਕਿੱਲ ਬੇਸਡ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਹੈ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਕਿੱਲ ਵਧੀਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੈਸੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਕਮਾ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹੋ। ਕਲੀਨਰ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਨੱਕ ਮੂੰਹ ਮਰੋੜੀਏ ਕਿ ਯਾਰ ਗੰਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦਾ, ਪਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਦੇ ਕਲੀਨਰ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਤਾਂ ਦੇਖੋ। ਮੇਰੇ ਖਿਆਲ ਉਹਦੇ ਕੋਲ 6000 ਸਕੁਅਰ ਫੁੱਟ ਦਾ ਮਕਾਨ ਹੋਣਾ। ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੁੱਛਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੱਟ ਦੇ ਕੇ ਤੁਰੇ ਫਿਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਮਸਾਂ 15 ਸਕੁਅਰ ਫੁੱਟ ਮਸਾਂ ਅਫੋਰਡ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ। ਸੋ ਲਾਈਫ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਟੋਟਲੀ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਹੈ। ਥਾਮਸ ਐਲਵਾ ਐਡੀਸਨ ਨੇ ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਬਣਾਈਆਂ, ਗਿਣਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ। ਐਡੀਸਨ ਇਫੈਕਟ ਬਾਰੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਿਕਰ ਕੀਤਾ, ਇਸ ਫਿਜ਼ਿਕਸ ਦੀ ਆਈਟਮ ਹੈ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਇੰਨਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਪਤਾ, ਪਰ ਐਡੀਸਨ ਨੇ ਲਾਈਟ ਬਲਬ ਦਾ ਆਵਿਸ਼ਕਾਰ ਕੀਤਾ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਅਚੀਵਮੈਂਟ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ, ਲੰਬੀ ਲਿਸਟ ਹੈ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਨ ਲੱਗਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਾਰਾ ਦਿਨ ਲੰਘ ਜਾਣਾ। ਐਡੀਸਨ ਸਕਰੂ ਵੀ ਕੀਤਾ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਲਬ ਦੇ ਥੱਲੇ ਲੱਗਦਾ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਚੂੜੀ ਚੜਾਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਸੌਕਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੀ ਇਜਾਦ ਹੈ, ਪੇਟੈਂਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ। ਤੇ ਥਾਮਸ ਇਲੈਕਟ੍ਰਿਕ ਪੈਨ ਵੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਜੀ ਕੋਈ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਟੈਲੀਗ੍ਰਾਫ ਵੀ ਇਜਾਦ ਕੀਤੀ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਫੋਨੋਗ੍ਰਾਫ ਇਜਾਦ ਕੀਤਾ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੂਵੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਬੜਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਯੋਗਦਾਨ ਹੈ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਇਨਵੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਸੀਗੀ ਕਾਈਨੈਟੋਸਕੋਪ। ਕਾਈਨੈਟਿਕ ਮੀਨਸ ਮੂਵਿੰਗ, ਸਕੋਪ ਮੀਨਸ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ। ਸੋ ਕਾਈਨੈਟੋਸਕੋਪ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ, ਚਲਚਿੱਤਰ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ 'ਚ ਕਹਿ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਉਹ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਨੈਟਫਲਿਕਸ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹੋ ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਰਹਿਣਗੀਆਂ, ਪਰ ਐਡੀਸਨ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਇਨਸਪੀਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ। ਅਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਫੇਲ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਮੈਂ ਜੋ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਤਿਆਰ ਕੀਤਾ, ਮੈਂ ਬੜੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਡਿੱਗਿਆ, ਬੜੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਫੇਲ ਹੋਇਆ, ਹਲੇ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਕੰਮ, ਹਲੇ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਪਰਫੈਕਟ ਹੋਇਆ। ਪਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਇਹ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਿ I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਲਬ ਦੀ ਈਜਾਦ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ 10,000 ਵਾਰੀ ਇਹ ਫੇਲ ਹੋਏ, ਪਰ ਢੀਠ ਹੱਡੀ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਕਿ ਬਲਬ ਜਗਾ ਕੇ ਹੀ ਹਟੇ। ਉਹ ਬਲਬ ਜਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਘਰ ਰੋਸ਼ਨੀ ਆਈ। ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਓ ਆਪਣੇ ਗੈਸਟਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰੀਏ ਆਪਣੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਨੇ ਬੜੀਆਂ ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਹਸਤੀਆਂ ਜੀ। ਮਿਸਟਰ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਸੂਰਾ ਫਰੋਮ ਬ੍ਰਿਟਿਸ਼ ਕੋਲੰਬੀਆ, ਇਹ ਰੀਮੈਕਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ, ਰੀਮੈਕਸ ਲਿਟਲ ਓਕ ਰਿਐਲਿਟੀ ਇਫ ਆਈ ਐਮ ਨੋਟ ਰੋਂਗ। ਤੇ ਵਾਧਵਾਨੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ। ਵਾਧਵਾਨੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਹੁਣੇ ਸੂਰਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਤੋਂ ਮੂਵ ਕੀਤੇ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਕੈਲਗਰੀ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਤੇਰੇ ਘਰ ਥੋੜੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਰੋਟੀ ਟਾਈਟ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਮੇਰਾ ਮਕਾਨ ਵੇਚ ਦੇ। ਉਹ ਮਕਾਨ ਵੇਚ ਕੇ 2 ਕੁ ਪੈਸੇ ਆਏ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਫਿਰ ਲੈਣਾ, ਚਲੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਇਆ ਕਰੋ। ਵਾਧਵਾਨੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕੀ ਹਾਲ ਚਾਲ ਨੇ?
ਬਸ ਸਰ ਸਭ ਠੀਕ ਠਾਕ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੁਣਾਓ?
ਵੀ ਥੋੜਾ ਡਾਊਨ ਬੋਲ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਕੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ? ਸਰਦਾਰ ਨੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਖੜੀ ਹੈ ਜਨਾਬ?
ਨਹੀਂ ਸਰ, no one is here. Rather Geeta is in Toronto.
ਅੱਛਾ, ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਗਏ ਹੋਏ?
Yeah, she left for Toronto yesterday. She has 2 meetings on today and tomorrow, and she's back on Saturday morning.
Okay, all right ਜੀ, ਚਲੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ। ਤੇ ਵਾਧਵਾਨੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਸੂਰਾ ਜੀ BC 'ਚ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈ, ਇਹ ਕੀਨੀਆ ਬੋਰਨ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ 'ਚ ਹੱਥ ਤੰਗ ਆ, ਸੋ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਹੀ ਲਾਈਕਸ ਟਾਕ ਮੋਰ ਇਨ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼। Mr. Sura and his broker owner, they always make my life very tough because they want me to speak in English and I get lost in English.
No, sir, you are absolutely comfortable with English.
हाँ जी सूरा साहब।
हाँ जी, थोड़ी बहुत तो आती है पंजाबी, पर एकदम परफेक्ट नहीं आती ना। हुण जिन्नी मैनू पंजाबी ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੈਂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਹੈਗੀ, ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੁਣਦੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ, ਜੋ ਮੈਂ ਮਿਡਲ ਈਸਟ ਪਹੁੰਚਿਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਆਈ, ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ the workers over there were from Pakistan, India, parts of India, Punjab, ਤਾਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਥੋੜੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਮੇਰੀ ਕਲੈਰਿਟੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰਾ style of speaking Punjabi is also a little bit different to my parents for some reason. They're a little bit more calm and more refined Punjabi, whereas myself, I'm a quite I would say, if I'm talking to any one of my clients who are Punjabi, it'll be more of a rougher type of Punjabi, if that makes sense. But samajh aa jandi bandiyan nu hun, like when I hear you speak, it's so eloquent, and as well as yourself, Mr. Vijay, I've heard a couple of words from you, and you guys have a more refined of speaking our mother tongue, in fact.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, this is all
thanks to Mr. Cheema.
Yes, sir.
I said thanks to Mr. Cheema. Association with Mr. Cheema has also, made me enhance my Punjabi skills a bit.
Yeah, well, we don't have any language barriers in this program. We can talk anything that we want to speak. So I'm looking at a report here which just came in. It is provided by Canadian Mortgage Trends. It says a 50 basis point rate hike in June is virtually guaranteed after April's hot inflation reading. I did speak about inflation yesterday in a layman's language, what it is and how it affects people, and how then things start coming down, prices start coming down. Because when inflation goes up, correct me, Mr. Wadhwani, if I am wrong, because you are more knowledgeable on this than I am. So when inflation goes on, Bank of Canada tries to pull it down by raising the overnight lending rate. The overnight lending rate is something that banks use to borrow money from each other, which is amazing, right? The banks also are borrowers at some point. So bank passes that cost over to the consumer. Now, when consumer is faced with the high prices, it starts minding its own cents and pennies. So it tries not to spend money as they were spending before. And the result is, when the suppliers see their product not selling, they start competing with each other and start lowering their prices. And this eventually puts a backward pressure or kind of headwind, so the inflation can come down. The target rate every year by the government is 2% to 3%. I really wonder, Mr. Wadhwani, if they would succeed in bringing it to 2 or 3% this year. What do you think?
Sir, they have missed the bus. Initially, they were sleeping when things were going up. Especially, I would put all the blame on the US Federal Reserve, which actually earlier said that the inflation is transitory. When it reached an unmanageable proportion, then it says, no, we have to raise interest rates. That also he woke up after 6 months. Now, within those 6 months, the inflation was all over the place. And then the war started. I have been saying for a long time, ever since the war started, the oil prices went up. My experience tells me the moment oil is above 80, there is bound to be a recession. Now, yesterday I read that Canadian bank, the governor of Bank of Canada, is going to raise interest rates on the 1st of June, and so is going to be the US Federal Reserve also. Now, if Bank of Canada raises interest, your mortgage rates may go up to 5%, which is going to be unmanageable. If it is 5%, Cheema Saab, if it is 5%, Cheema Saab, there is bound to be a recession. And don't forget, in Canada, housing contributes to the maximum. It is the maximum component below the GDP in Canada. Now, if your maximum component gets hit, everything gets hit. I have been saying recession, well, for the past 4 months, literally for the past 4 months.
Yeah.
That recession is bound to be there. I don't know whether I discussed it with you or not, but I have been discussing with a few people. And day before yesterday, I was having a chat with a major general in India. He said, who is this war hurting? I said, this war is hurting both the sides. The West miscalculated totally that the sanctions on Russia is going to bite them more than it is going to bite Russia. Now today, the oil prices, what Ontario is paying $2 a liter?
Yes.
Unmanageable. You are paying more than what India is paying today. The Delhi rate today is 105 rupees a liter. Today in Canada, if you convert $2 into rupees, you are paying 120 rupees a liter.
Yeah, around 60 rupees to $1.
Exactly. So 120 rupees a liter, how can you manage it? Canada has always had low oil prices than India. Now today, India is lesser than, India has a subsidy on it, right? But don't forget, all this is going to bite into the consumer's budget. Eventually, what gets hit? Spending gets hit. Disposable incomes get hit. Today, Goldman Sachs is talking of, I just read on CNBC, that a recession is inevitable. Inevitable. And if recession is inevitable, S&P today is about 15% lower than, from its peak, 15 to 20%. Now they are talking of S&P going to 3,000 from 4,400. If you just imagine, you're talking of a scenario, something, comparable to 2008. The only saving grace is that people have not borrowed too much on their mortgage equity today. That is the only saving grace.
So I was reading a report by our broker owner, Mr. Asif Khan, and he gave some very interesting insight into Canadian housing market. And he says 45% of Canadian homes are paid off. This means there is no mortgage, no HELOC, and thus any hike in interest rate is not going to affect them. There is another large percentage of homes that have obtained their mortgage in the last 24 months. They are locked in for a few more years. Another group opted to lock into fixed rate mortgages. Another group so they will not be affected by upcoming rate hikes. There is a small percentage of homes that are highly leveraged, and yes, the higher rates could affect their affordability. However, they have been qualified at 5.25%, which is a stress test rate. The variable rate is far from that now, which is 2.25 more or less, or 2.2. So this is what he says. He's asking these questions, how the rate hike will cripple the housing market. Lots of, I won't read that. That is a kind of some statement that hits at many of the realtors. This is in a private group. But 45% paid off houses, some already renewed, and some converted their variable to fixed rate mortgages, so they don't be affected. And even those people who have variable rate, they can handle for a long time. So I guess the effect of rate hike in mortgages is going to take pretty long time. But yes, for those people who are getting into the market now, or they got in the market a month earlier, they are going to suffer in a big way. I was reading a news article where this agent in Greater Toronto area, he's a good friend, I know him, and he was in this, I think, CBC News. He bought a property for $1.34 something million, and it has lost more than $300,000 right away within 1 or 1.5 months. He closed in March this year. So when we talk about recession, do you think this is inevitable? It's going to come very soon? Because the last time I remember we talked about Bank of America saying there are signs of recession hitting us, and this is the second reinforcement you are just pointing out, because you study a lot of data which we don't have access to at the moment, and we don't even have time to look up for that. That's why we respect your input into this.
So July and September, if the first quarter earnings of 2022, like it has hurt Walmart and Target, just imagine what it is going to be the second quarter.
It has hit.
Second quarter is going to be worse than the first quarter. Yesterday, Target share fell by $52 on the NYSE. And when Target is the actually a middle income group store in US. It's not a high-end store.
Yeah.
And it clearly said the supply chain issues and the labor issues. Labor is in short supply. That's the reason. Yes. And they do not predict a good result for the rest of the year.
Yeah. In Ontario, we are definitely looking at some slowdown in the market. There are very few showings happening at the moment. People are trying to low bid on the houses by as much as $400,000, $500,000 on higher end homes. And many homes have lost a lot of value. If I share the data later on with you at some point, you will see that there has been price reduction of up to more than 20-25%. So, Mr. Amritsura, how are you seeing your market in light of what Mr. Wadhwani just said about inflation and recession?
So, what I'm noticing, in different categories, for example, the older generation who have taken the benefit of using their home as their nest egg, now they're transitioning into a smaller place. Downsizers, I believe they're getting a lot more activity, age-restricted communities where they can come in all cash, right? So unfortunately, last night we lost out on one due to that fact. And then, with the, like you said, with the other categories, new home construction, apartments for first-time home buyers and townhouses, they are seeing a little bit less activity due to people being quite fearful of what's going to come up in the next coming months, right? So definitely seeing a transition of the buyers the buyers being in somewhat of a control position as opposed to the sellers a few months ago being in more of a control scenario.
Okay. So you are also seeing a significant change in the market happening in your Abbotsford area. This is where you work.
This is where I work. I mean, not only Abbotsford, but throughout the valley. I mean, when we start seeing the hot sheets in the morning, and you see the price reductions anywhere between 25 and 100,000, some even 200,000. I think sellers are also into that position where they're realizing, okay, every 25,000 is $100 or $112 payment
Yeah.
for a potential buyer. So they're also being educated by the agent saying, okay, guys, if we want to transition, then we need to be a little bit more flexible. So now, does that send the wrong message? I think that's a completely different conversation. But, at the end of the day, you never know what position anyone is in when they're selling. It's not a matter that every seller is being greedy and taking advantage of the market. They're in a position that they are in, and they require the assistance of our peers and network in order to transition away. Whether they're moving like Mr. Wadwan has moved from Toronto to Calgary. Some people I've noticed, I helped a family relocate from Chilliwack, BC. They're going to Edmonton.
Okay.
So
To avoid high prices.
To avoid high prices, and also not only high prices, again, conditions and availability of the special type of schooling required for children, and again, they're in a position in their life where they can do that bigger transition into another province. Whereas
Alrighty.
if you look at an elderly seller, are they going to move across Canada? I doubt it very much. They're here and they're focused on making their their home facilitate a purchase for them to live out the rest of their life in a smaller place.
Alrighty. So we are continuing this discussion, but for now we'll just take a quick ad break. We'll come back with some news on inflation, and I will also share the data about how detached homes in many municipalities across Greater Toronto area have lost value. There are only a countable number of municipalities that have actually gone up on the prices for detached or overall housing prices on an average price scale. Will soon come back to you. Please stay tuned. Are you looking for a reliable legal office that can handle your closing in the most effective manner? If yes, please get in touch with Rakesh Joshi at 416-213-8600. Joshi Law Office provides all the legal advices about real estate law, business law, immigration laws, notarization and affidavits, wills and trust. Give them a call today, 416-213-8600. Are you looking for reliable immigration services? If yes, contact Sukhi Paul at 647-296-4575 or office phone number 905-790-8877. They are located at 219-220 at 7956 Torban Road. It's right at the intersection of Torban Road and Steeles Avenue West. Contact them for all kind of visa services. Finding an honest and diligent insurance and investment advisor is a rarity these days. If you are looking for great advice, contact Mr. Bhupendra Mane, who is the regional director of Cosmos Financial Center. They are located at Unit number 830 Top Flight Drive, Mississauga. The phone number to call is 647 448 6229. Give them a call today. Is your business suffering from performance? If yes, it is the right time to call Ravinder Duggi at 416 807 7986. She will find out the weak points and the points where the performance issues are paramount and help you fix those issues. Give her a call today. Do not be late. Are you looking to buy or sell your home or any commercial real estate? If yes, call me today at 647 333 2273 or 647 328 3279. I provide services in real estate and mortgages. I am mortgage broker with Akal Mortgages Inc, where when we say yes, we stand behind our promise. Reach out to me today. Do you want to shop right without burning your pockets? If yes, please visit Monisha Discount Warehouse at 377 Burnhamthorpe Road, East Mississauga, Ontario. They are the best. They have all kind of Indian, Pakistani and other local stuff that you can buy at literally throwaway prices. Contact them at 905-361-0773. Monisha Discount Warehouse. D.P. Jain is a well-known name in the fields of accounting. You can contact him today at his cell number 416-305-0080 or his office number 905-790-9327. Once you start working with him, you will never want to leave him. He is 5-star professional. Call him today. D.P. Jain Professional Corporation. PC24 RETV is heard over so many different channels. If you want to promote your business for free, call me at 647-333-2273. You can also send your artwork to contact@paulcheema.com. We are here to be partners in your business success. 647-333-2273. We are back in the program again. Thank you very much for waiting patiently. So we are talking about inflation and how this is going to affect the market. So we just heard Mr. Wadhwani speculating on upcoming recession, which could make a lot of money for some, and many could end up losing all their monies here. So this is a very dangerous situation. As far as the municipalities around Greater Toronto area are concerned, I have some data that is shared yesterday, but I would like to say that again. Brampton lost $124,595,000 in the price of detached homes from April 29th to May 16th. All this data that I'm going to talk about is from April 29 to May 16. Caledon lost over $159,640. Mississauga registered a gain in detached home prices by $7,392. Aurora lost detached home prices by $74,894. East Gwillimbury lost by $198,384. The biggest price losses were reported in Markham in detached home prices by $543,256. And then in Amaranth, which lost for detached home prices, the amount was $291,317. Another municipality that lost huge on detached home prices is Kitchener. The detached home prices lost by over $236,830. And next one, Niagara-on-the-Lake lost by more than $344,000. And coming to Winefleet, this is close to Niagara-on-the-Lake area, lost by $472,000. These are the biggest drops. And then Adjala to Sorrento lost by $221,810. That is a very big drop in the prices of the detached homes. Mr. Wadhwani, this is, I think, in line with what you're telling.
Absolutely, sir. And as I, just sent you an article of BNN Bloomberg, which says that full-blown war on housing. Now, if you go by this is really disturbing.
It
really
is.
disturbing. And go ahead, sir.
Yes. If we talk about other municipalities like composite housing price, means all houses, the average sold price put together, Brampton dropped by 7.48%. Caledon lost by 9.51%. Mississauga gained by close to 1%. Aurora gained overall by 1.89%. East Gwillimbury lost by more than 18.9%, 09%. And then King regained by 14.76%. King lost by 5.5%. I think you know King was the most expensive neighborhood in this area. Markham dropped by only 109% as far as composite house prices on average are concerned. The biggest drops, I will be quick, are in Amaranth. Overall, average prices dropped by 20.35%. Then Mulmer, which is in Dufferin here, by 35.45% gain, not drop. Amaranth gained by 35.5%. So this data still needs more verification and validation. Kitchener dropped by 14% and Adjala to Sorrento dropped by 19.34%. So these are the biggest drops and gains in area around Greater Toronto area. So what do you think, Mr. Sura? How are your municipalities resisting? Do you have any data before we talk about the article from Bloomberg that Mr. Wadhwan is talking about?
What I didn't do is prepare all of the details as in depth as you, but there has been a substantial amount of decline in prices. So what I'm going to do is I'll circle back and have sort of more market insight on our next video call.
That would be appreciated.
But sorry for my interjection.
Yeah.
What Mr. Sura is saying and what Mr. Cheema, what you are saying, the kind of drops you guys are witnessing, Calgary and Alberta is not witnessing those kind of drops.
Mm-hmm.
Calgary, they still say that might gain about 8% over 2021 prices by the end of 2022. No wonder people are moving from GTA, and as Mr. Sura also said, some of the people, one of his clients moved to Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because the average price of a detached home still is, in Calgary, what I'm talking about, is between 600,000 and 700,000. Say a 3 to 4 bedroom house.
Yeah, I perhaps noticed that thing the way you're saying. And one of my neighbors, they actually sold their house from here and moved to Calgary a couple months back. They saved on a lot of cash, but the houses are kind of stuck at this point. So, Mr. Wadhwani, the article that you shared with me is not in my backyard. It is a full-blown war of housing. I will throw some light on this. The recent suggestion by the task force designated by Government of Ontario to give them recommendation on how they can fight this housing crisis. So they pointed this out, that NIMBY-ism, not in my backyard-ism, should be replaced by yes in my backyard-ism. So the way it works is, if you have a community of, let's say, 40 feet frontage, detached homes, and then there is a big patch of land, let's say an acre and a half or 2 acres, and some developer wants to build high-rise condos or high-density residences there, those people who own those 40 feet detached home, they are going to join together. They are going to face their counselor and then ask him that no, this can't happen here. This will lower the value of our houses. So that was what the task force suggested, and this is what Ontario government is trying to implement, bring slightly higher densities close to transits, so people can just get off and on transit, maybe it's subways or bus stops, something like that, and pay less for commute, save time, and save some money in the end, and be healthy and wealthy at the same time. So that's the concept. So what article, so you have read the article, I haven't gone through it. Would you like to throw more light on it?
Sir, this is mainly about what the consumer has already paid and he is going to pay. Now, the consumer who has paid between March and April 29th, as you say, he had a feeling of great remorse that he has been
Yes.
cheated. And right? Now, if he has been cheated by whom? He has not been cheated well by the seller. He has been cheated well by the market conditions.
Yes.
Now, the market, who is responsible well for the market conditions?
Yes.
Let us admit it is the government of Canada or the government of Ontario. And, as I said earlier, Canadian economy mainly depends for its GDP on the housing market.
Mm-hmm.
And if interest rates are going to climb, but I would much rather have your report where you said that, 45% of the mortgages are already paid off. It's only 55%, which is going to be impacted. And a part of it is going to have a little impact. I would much rather read that report. But Cheema Saab, regardless of the housing crisis, with the oil prices up, the housing, this thing going down, aren't there enough signs for a recession? And as Mr. Sura also says, that BC has also been impacted in some way or the other, because you two are in the hottest markets in the country. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially you, Mr. Cheema, you are in the hottest market, and so is Mr. Sura.
Yes.
The complete propelling of the Canadian economy dependent on the GTA housing and the BCA housing, right?
Yep.
But the way you people are showing, the declines in the prices, that is alarming.
Yes.
Don't forget, we have not reached that stage, but we will reach it soon once the interest rates climb. Just imagine, I am just speculating, I hope I am proven wrong, the amount of bankruptcies which are going to happen.
Yes.
There's going to be a significant amount of bankruptcies also which will happen.
We recently dropped the price of one of our listing by close to $400,000. For $3.4 million, we came down to $3 million. $1 less than $3 million. This is the state, and showings are not happening right now. So I'm looking at the cost of living continue to increase in April, raising the odds that the Bank of Canada will respond forcefully with at least 50 basis point rate hike in June meeting. Canada's headline inflation rate rose to a 31-year-old high of 6.8%, driven largely by soaring food, which is 8.5% or more, and shelter 7.4% cost. Statistics Canada reported on Wednesday. This is according to that report. Gasoline cost, considered a more volatile measure, registered a 36.3% jump in April, which was down from 39.8% in March. Gasoline cost. This is what is showing. I don't know how gasoline costs are in BC or in Calgary. So focusing on the housing related costs, homeowners replacement cost related to the cost of new homes was up 13% from a year ago, while other owned accommodation expenses were up 17.2%.
Have a nice.
The mortgage interest
Nice.
the mortgage interest cost index was up just
बिल्कुल time पे आ गया तो
0.2%,
चलेंगे
but
बहुत
posted
ठीक
its first month-over-month increase since April 2020. So this is a report about inflation and how things are going to rise. So I'm looking at your report that you sent me, and it says cap rates, monthly rate prices rose by 10.2% at a unit where there was tenant turnover. That is a very high and alarming rental rate. That is too much. 10.2% when a tenant vacates and another tenant moves in. This is a big jump.
Calgary has a huge the rental market is really hot. It is red hot. No, because people are not buying houses. They are
Yep.
actually they can afford rent much better than a mortgage.
Yeah.
I don't know
hear you.
about GTA.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Not
hear you.
having the down payment or not having the ability to qualify obviously is going to make a massive impact on the rental demand. So now, with what Mr. Wadwan is saying on the potential, collapse or a recession coming about, not many consumers think in that manner. You're an analyst, right? Not everyone's an analyst. At the end of the day, they're thinking, okay, well, I need shelter, and banks have always pitched their services as a monthly payment. So, can you make this monthly payment? So, the stress test is going to aid in them being able to manage that. So, I think the small amount of people that are going to be in trouble may have been the people that have gone in to an unconventional lender and a B lender as opposed to the big banks, right? So yes, we will see a lot of bankruptcies if they let it go on that long.
Yep.
If they're able to prepare, like Mr. Wadwan is saying, guys, get ready for this roller coaster because it's coming. Anyone that's been with a B lender, you might want to sort of do your calculations and make sure you were on a fixed rate as opposed to a variable rate, and try and hold on to the ride, because at the end of the day, the properties are going to get sold either way. I mean, the demand is going to be there. There's the investor type clientele, which Mr. Wadwan has explained. Yes, there's a rental demand. There's going to be people acquiring those deals because in certain instances, they have to be sold. So at the end of the day, I think BC being a hot market, it's stagnated because the people are listening to some clues. They're making a decision in a little bit longer time frame as opposed to a rushed decision-making process in the past months that we've seen, right? So,
all right. That's how things are going to go about it, and we cannot control the market. We can just speculate and how things become rosy for most of us. I was watching some TikTok videos, and I did speak about that yesterday's in my yesterday's broadcast. There are some agents who are very excitedly sharing this information. Hey, look, who owns the houses? You own the houses, but who owns the financing on the houses? The banks, they hold 80% financing on your house. So guess what? That 80% comes from Bank of Canada. So do you think by putting your market to crash situation, the Bank of Canada wants to lose its money? So this is the logic they are giving. And I was laughing at those videos. I said, what a great logic. Because when you take a mortgage, you sign on the dotted lines saying you owe the responsibility to pay back whatever you borrow. How is that Bank of Canada's money? Bank of Canada or other lending institutions, they own your property unless you pay it off, and they will just put it on a power of sale, recover their money, and you are the one who is going to lose money if market crashes, and you buy without paying attention to the market pulse and understanding how you should go about shopping for your home. I find them totally misleading, ill-informed videos, but they are doing it and getting traction. I simply do not understand this kind of frenzy by professionals on social media. Rather than educating them, we are just kind of throwing them, oh, okay, it's okay to buy a house today. If money is lost, it's Bank of Canada's money. You don't have to worry about that. Don't you think that is kind of a ridiculous campaigning?
Again, at the end of the day, you've hit the nail right on the head. At the end, they're trying to make a sale. Are they serving the client to the best interest of the client?
Yeah.
With the stringent policies put in place for the stress test, it should basically also apply to a B lender situation. Now, how you've basically covered everything, is in the sense that you're misguiding them, and they're taking their hard-earned money into a casino. They're basically gambling in the efforts to say, okay, maybe we'll make a profit. But when the times turn around, like Mr. Wadwan has explained, it's going to be sink or swim, and getting that power of sale. How long does it take for the bank to say, all right, well, you've missed 8 payments, now we're gonna take over? Yes, we understand that it's the payment that you're going to be making, but the implications are quite dire, right?
Quite dire. That's particularly true.
I have a question.
Do you have anything else to add, Mr. Sura?
What I would add to that is, again, I think for British Columbia, at least, they need to open up a little bit more land availability in order to provide reasonable, affordable homes, right? Now, if we look at
that's true.
If we look at 1995 prices in Abbotsford, British Columbia, under 200,000, you could get a beautiful home with a nice lot, which now is selling for 1.3, 1.4 million.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I have a question here, since you two are experts.
Yes, sir.
Now, like Mr. Cheema said, if the property prices have gone down by 500,000 in Markham, now, as Mr. Sura said, somebody misses out 8 payments, won't these properties go underwater?
Well, there is a negative equity. It can come in shore, because just before market crashed, many people refinanced their properties. As the news was spreading that rates are going to go up and up, many people jumped into the market quickly, and refinancing of the houses went way faster than they thought. So those people, if let's say at that point in time the property was appraised for $1,500,000, and today the same property is appraised at $1 million. So they took refinancing of 80% on $1.5 million. So now coming down to this price, today's price, they have negative cash in the property, right? So, but the thing is, people still keep living in the houses. They will still keep paying whatever higher payments they have to pay, because whether your house increases in value or decreases in value, as long as you need it to live in, nothing changes. It's only when you have to sell off, you will face trouble and financial loss in a very big way. These insurances are covered, are kind of 80% is not protected, but other than that, the high ratios are definitely protected. So CMSC or any mortgage insurer will pay the deficit from millions of dollars they collect every year from so many people, and default rate is not that high. So CMSC has tons of money to back up any mortgage which they are doing. Yes, those houses, they do go underwater at the moment, but it is only a temporary phenomenon. This is what I can tell you. It will come back. It will rebound with greater force. It has always happened like that. I'm not sure if I answered your question, but let me know.
I get it. I get it.
Alrighty. So right now, if you look at the interest rates, the interest rate now, you're looking at the Mopolo app that is up on the screen. This app helps you check your credit score once a month, check your property valuation once a month. You can also save your inventory or whatever expensive articles you have in your property. All you need to do is just download it. So this app will give you most of the stuff that I just spoke about, pre-property evaluation. Even if you want to add some, let's say, upgrades to your property, and you want to see, okay, if I add these things, how will this affect my property valuation? So this program will calculate, will build those upgrades into the valuations. You can always check that up, and you can apply through this for any mortgage. At the same time, if you want to download it, just click the download link, and it's available for most of the operating systems on Android or iPhones, even BlackBerry, which people think they don't want anymore. But anyways, coming back to the rates, I will come back. The rates have rates at the moment are 3.09% for 1 year. If you want an open mortgage, you are at 6.30%. 2 years, 3.39%, 3.79% for 3 years. For 5 years, high ratio is 4.14, while the conventional mortgage at 5 years is 4.49. This will go up again, guys. This is a time to jump in and grab a deal if you want. Nobody goes that, in my experience, so far as I have been working in real mortgage profession, I have not seen anyone go 7 to 10 years. 5-year variable rate is available at 2.25%. Prime is 3.20%. Very soon you will see it 3.70%. And qualification criteria is 5.25%. Be my guest, download this app, Mopolo, and you can take advantage of all these great features of mortgage rates, of trackers, of credit applications, whether you're purchasing or whether you're consolidating your debt or want investment funds or renovation, or you want to switch your mortgage. You can do all these things right from this app. But be careful, when you download this app and you are in it, you have to click on find a broker, and then you type in a last name. If you want to work with me, type Cheema here. You will see some Cheemas up there, and just find me and then click on pick broker, and I get connected to your system. So we are talking with our amazing guest, Amrit Sura from BC, and Mr. Wadhwani, who is a very informed person from Calgary.
No, sir. I am just a student.
Yes, but you are way better knowledgeable than us. So you are a great asset to this program.
I'm just a student.
And I thank you for being here all the time. You do great things, and you help me a lot running this show. So
Sir,
Mr. Sura, Mr. Wadhwani has just recently moved to Calgary. We sold his house, and I was the lucky one to buy him this house many years back, 2015.
Wow.
2022, I got a call from him say, come sell my house. And we ended up selling it. And his
Oh,
move
wow.
actually got completed yesterday.
He bought it for me
So
and he sold it for me.
you're in the midst of unpacking boxes, right?
Yes, his couple kids were left behind. And the mover went to Jamaica on some urgent family business.
Oh,
And there
wow.
was some important stuff. And we were under a lot of stress. We even talked about calling police. So the stuff could be delivered. So, but mover is a good friend of mine, but I was very, very embarrassed that I recommended him. And this is what Mr.
No, it
Wadwani.
wasn't your fault, sir. It wasn't your fault at all.
Yeah.
You did a marvelous job, and at the end of it, I would still give full marks to the mover. He also did a marvelous job yesterday.
Well, I'm happy to hear that because when you
Yeah,
recommend someone,
you don't you don't know what happened yesterday. So those four kids came. The driver said, "I'll just leave it on your driveway." I said, "Come on, man! How can you leave it on the driveway?" I said, "You got to put it inside the garage." He said, "No, you got to pay extra." I called up Daniel. Daniel called them up. Daniel said, "Vijay, don't worry. He's going to put it inside." And so Daniel did a marvelous job yesterday.
awesome. I'm happy to hear that. Daniel is
Oh,
a
yeah,
good
full marks
friend,
to both of
and
you.
he is very intimidating if you look at his persona, but he has the mind of a child. He wears blings and all those fancy things, and the crew that he brings with him, they are all like him, and you will get scared. Oh, are they here to help me out, or who they are? Is some bikers gang?
So
Very nice. Very nice.
your transition to Calgary now, are you in a new home purchase at the present time, or?
No, I'm staying with my son right now.
Okay.
My son has a house in Calgary, so I'm staying with him.
Nice. Oh, perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's
Well,
better.
guys,
It's better
thank
to.
you very much for being at my show. I hope to see you more often. Just text me.
Yes.
You have
Definitely, sir.
got these codes. You can use them anytime. Whenever you
Yeah.
have something important to talk about, just jump in because educating people is what I like the most. So
Thank you very
that's
much, sir.
what we are designed for. That's what professionals are. Share knowledge and expertise. And we do not solicit anybody's business. We just want to share good information so that you do not get lost in all those mumbo jumbo of Google network. If you want to look up at how to find a good broker, you will find at least 200 different ideas on how to find a good broker to work with. So it's better that you do your homework. You get to know the question you need to
Sir, I'm
ask
getting
the
a call.
professional, and you will find the stuff. But before we go, we have these amazing gentlemen here. Thank you very much, Mr. Wadwani, and thank you very much, Mr. Amrit Sura. I hope to see you back again. Let me know
Yeah,
when.
we'll see you next
I
Thursday.
have booked Thursday for you, so make sure you have Thursday in your strict regimen system that you have set up. Mr.
100%.
Wadwani, I would like to see you again, sir, whenever you are.
Thank you, sir. Thank
And
you.
I
Great honor.
thank each and
Thank
every
you, Mr.
one
Sura.
of those people who would be watching
Thank you,
this
Mr.
show.
Wadwan.
Your comments are highly
Nice talking to
valuable.
you. Yeah.
Please be here. Tell us what you think about this program. Good or bad comments are all welcome.